Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome back and happy snow day to so many of us across the country. Hopefully you are keeping warm and staying safe and maybe enjoying a hot cup of cocoa. But we are back. And as we step back into the rhythm of school, you might be supporting teachers or answering 100 questions or doing a million other quiet things to help people find their footing again. And especially right now, nothing matters more than clarity. Welcome to Making Great Education Happen, the podcast where we talk about the work behind the work of education. And if you're a principal, an operations leader, a front office professional, a member of the technology team, a facilities leader, or someone who keeps the system running while everyone else focuses on instruction, then this podcast is for you. And I am really glad that you're here. Some of you listening are the ones doing the work behind the scenes, academic operations, front office, systems, support roles. And some of you are the ones making the decisions that shape the system. Principals, school leaders, administrators. Wherever you sit, this conversation isn't about sides or which role is more important. It's about how we work together. Because clarity doesn't live in one role. It lives in shared understanding and mutual respect and having the right voices in the right room at the right time. So as we start a new year, there's often this quiet pressure to move quickly, to get back on pace and to fix what didn't work and to roll out new programs and initiatives. But before we rush into action, I want to invite us to pause together. Because clarity isn't just helpful, it's foundational. Clarity isn't always about naming a problem. Sometimes there is no pronounced issue. Sometimes what's missing isn't urgency, it's a shared understanding. And so clarity keeps our awareness on the right things, at the right time, with the right people, so we can address the right needs clearly. And when clarity is missing, something else quietly takes its place. Confusion, frustration, mistrust, burnout. Sound familiar? Not because people don't care, but because they are trying to move forward without a shared picture of what's really happening. And this is where the identify phase of the IC method really matters. Because to identify is not to stall, it's not to overanalyze, it's not to make things harder than they need to be. To identify is to pause long enough to see clearly, to notice patterns, to listen, to ask better questions, to invite the right voices into the room. Because sometimes the most faithful leadership move is not doing more. It's seeing more clearly. If we want clarity, we have to expand the room. That means inviting the people who live closest to the work and the people who help make meaning of that work. The front desk, they hear the questions and frustrations first. They feel the impact of decisions immediately. They often know what timelines are actually realistic. Academic operations and finance, because clarity lives at the intersection of priorities and people, time, and resources. These teams see how decisions ripple across your schedules, your staffing, and budgets, and they help ensure that what we've planned or what you've planned is sustainable. Technology and facilities, they understand what's possible. They know what's fragile. They know what your digital systems can withstand. They understand what your physical infrastructure systems can take. And so they know what will require time and training and transition. And communications, because clarity isn't just about making decisions. It's about helping people understand them. Clear communication builds trust and reduces anxiety. And when these voices are missing, clarity suffers, not because people don't care, but because no one sees the full picture alone. And I want to be clear about something. This isn't about scolding principals or administrators. So often the operational work falls on them too, not just to strategize, but to actually do the work. And that work is so often shaped by budgets and expectations and the realities of who they report to. So what I've seen again and again is people doing the best that they can with the information and the resources that they have. The issue is not effort. The issue is separation. So let's talk a little bit about what clarity makes possible. Because here's the quiet gift of clarity. With clarity comes confidence. People know what's expected. With clarity comes trust, because decisions just make sense. And often with clarity comes joy, absolute pure joy. Clarity doesn't mean that mistakes won't happen, though. Let's be clear about that. And it doesn't mean that adjustments won't be needed. But clarity does set a path so that when mistakes do happen, when adjustments do come, that the momentum still moves forward instead of backward. So if meetings feel heavy, if initiatives feel exhausting, if people seem confused or disengaged, before you add something new, or before you take something away, before you even assume that there is a problem to solve at all, pause. Ask yourself again, who should be here? Clarity has a way of emerging when the right people are present, when the pace is human, and the room is wide enough to hold the truth of the reality that must be faced. And so when operations and instruction and leadership are aligned, guess who feels it first? Students. And aren't we all in this for our students? That's our why. So let's get operations, instruction, and leadership aligned. And that's how we make great education happen together. Thank you for joining me today. If this episode gave you a new way to think about leadership, systems, or sustainability, share it with a colleague or a fellow educator. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and head on over to makinggreateducationhappen.com to download free tools and to join a community who is working to keep making great education happen together.